Honorable Commissioner for Industry and Commerce in the Ogun State, we've been on the side of this ministry for over 3 years in good standing. Of course, how has Ogun State fared in terms of creating an enabling environment for investors who are willing to invest in Ogun State, targeting various sectors of the economy in Ogun State?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I think one of the 5 cardinal points of His Excellency is the agriculture that leads to industrialization. And how do you do that? First of all, my job has been cut out for me because he happens to be the chairman of Senate in Commerce when I was in the Senate. And he knows the importance of creating wealth, letting our people be managers of their own business. But I've also said that you need to drive the SMEs in this country, in this state. And how do you drive that? You create an enabling environment for business to thrive. And how do you do that too? Is by having the necessary infrastructure in place. And let's be honest with ourselves, even if we have millions of industries in Ogun State today, and we don't have good roads, good road networks are not there, how will the goods move from the producers to the final consumers? It's going to be difficult for them. So what has happened now is that if you go around Ogun State is like a construction yard. And what we are trying to do is to create an enabling environment for business to thrive in the state. And how will you do that? Is by putting the necessary things in place. What are the things? Put the necessary infrastructure in place, good road network. And the most primary concern of any investor in anywhere is the investors. Yes, they have their own personal interests. They want to make dividends. And the most important thing is the safety of their assets, the safety of the properties, and the safety of their employees. And that comes with security. We've been able to create security. Before then, banks were not even opening shops in Ogun State because armed robbers were not allowing them to rest. And what did we do? The Excellency ensured that he brought in about 15 APC, armored personal vehicle carriers, to combat that. If you go around Ogun State now, you see them stationed in different locations in order to fight, to combat this crime. And presence is a deterrent to robbery, to crime. So you see that in Ogun State today, that is what has been done. And I'm happy to tell you that about 46 industries have opened shops in Ogun State today in the last 30 months. And this is the only state in this country where Mr. President has visited most to commission factories. He has commissioned about 6 different factories in Ogun State. The last one was P&G, where he had the vice president representing him. And I have some quotes I will give you what he said the last time he came to Ogun State. So what we're trying to do is that we are trying to make sure that even the stakeholders, we are dealing with them. I'll give you an example. The Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, we have stakeholders. We now have quarterly meetings with them. The Ogun State, Ogun Sima, that is the Ogun State members of Chambers of Commerce, we are dealing with them. We ensure that the stakeholders are key. And what have we done too? When you are doing all these things, you have to drive the SMEs. And the SMEs are the primary driver of any economy in the world. And what did we do? We partnered with Bank of Industry. We had a $1 billion joint venture. 500 million from the state, 500 million from them. And what did we do by achieving that? We ensured that we create an environment for them. We did the analysis. We trained unemployed graduates by 1,000 unemployed graduates. And we now taught them how to write business cases. Because you see, one of the major problems of SMEs is funding. 90%, 99%, 97% of SMEs in this country, they get their funds through family, friends, and well-wishers because the prudential guidelines from the bank will not allow them to borrow money from the bank. And that is the reason why it's good to have banks like Bank of Industry who have long-term funds to be able to fund short-term and long-term projects. And having said that, what we did was to ensure that these funds are given to them with single digits and they have 6 months moratorium to pay, to service the principal, not the interest. So with that, I am happy to tell you that the first set of beneficiaries are the Adure people who came in May, and that was when we had Olympics in London. And most of the fabrics that they used during the Olympics they all came from Ogun State. So Ogun State has a lot of comparative and competitive advantage over some other states. And then like I told some people, industrial revolution has actually started in Ogun State. Because when we came in, I mentioned that Ogun State is a volcano that is going to erupt economically. And I can tell you that we've erupted now. And Ogun State is not an alternative. It's not an option. It's now an alternative for industry.
Okay, fantastic, sir. Now that we know that Ogun State is open for business, we would like to know what has been the challenges facing your ministry, and what are your strategies for attracting investors, both from home and abroad?
Yes, I will tell you this. Initially, we were rated as the lowest state, one of the lowest states, inclusive of other states, that they don't do business. They cannot do business with. Those were the initial challenges, and people still believe that, if you come to Ogun State, you will have problem in getting things. No, we took ownership, and we have what they call one-stop shop. Once you come into the ministry here, we take ownership. We do all your letters, all your application. We take it over, go to the Bureau of Land and Survey, talk to them in the physical planning, and all the areas where you need to have an interface. So we are not left in as an orphan to go and be dealing with those ministries. So with that, we accept responsibility on behalf of this government to deal with these investors, potential investors, and even the existing investors. And other challenges which we normally have is the fact that even these investors, when they now get to their land, the so-called omonides, they give them problems. And what we normally do is to invite the traditional rulers and talk to them that, look, don't you want progress in your domain? But having said that, even if the community now agreed to host them, to welcome them home, they too need to be socially responsible to the community where they operate. And it's very key. And what we do is to ensure that there is a team relationship between the community and the businesses. And in the area of challenges, that people are not used to changes, because there are few problems that they are used to. They encounter this problem, and they think those problems are normal problems. But we now tell them these are not normal problems. We need to stop that, and we need to resolve that. So we need to change that.
Okay. Nigerians in the diaspora would like to know, especially most business community in the diaspora, whether Nigerian or European or wherever you come from, they want to know, they're watching us right now on a global network. How do I go about investing in Ogun State? Is there a specific office dedicated to returning residents of Ogun State who wants to invest in SMEs? How do I go about it? And what sectors are open for them? What are options open for them?
I'm happy with that question. I don't want us to be... Please stop it. Stop. Mr. Alpini. Okay, you see, the point you are trying to raise about Nigerians in diaspora, you see, I don't want us to concentrate only on Nigeria about Nigerians. I want to concentrate about potential investors. What we need to look at is how can they come into the state to invest in the state. Very simple. We have a Ministry of Commerce and Industry. We have a Department of Trade and Investment. But whatever happens, we need to take ownership. When they come in here, gone were the days that you think, when you go to ministry, you are going to spend the whole of this. No. You have a commissioner who has an open door policy. I have a team, the PAMSEC, she's open to you. All the directors, they will take ownership. And what we try to do is to ensure that we're able to tell you areas. And I will tell you this. Ogun State is blessed with a lot of mineral and natural resources. Let me give you two examples. We have limestone. Cement, limestone is, what is used to make cement. In this country today, in Nigeria, 28.6 million metric tons of cement is being produced in this country. 14 million metric tons is coming out from Ogun State. We have the Dangotes of this world, we have Lafarge, we have Purechem, and we have other ones. And what I say in essence is that they can take advantage of that. We have ceramic industries that they use the byproduct of limestone to produce ceramic. So what I'm saying basically is, when you start business in Ogun State, for example, you are sure of 95% of your raw materials can be sourced locally in Ogun State. And I will give you an example of cassava. Cassava is being grown in Ogun State. Before, yes, we are talking about cassava revolution now. Cassava, before, is something that just produced and people don't even touch. But today, I will give you an example of a company that produces ethanol. They consume a minimum of 280 tons of cassava on a daily basis. And the extract of cassava, you get starch, you get CO2, you get sugar, and you get ethanol. Ethanol was being imported into this country in commercial quantity, and it was affecting our foreign exchange. But today, we just commissioned the first ethanol factory in Nigeria, and it was in Ogun State there in Agbara. But having said that, this company has created jobs for 8,000 farmers. And those were the days whereby you say people don't want to be farmers. But now, farming is for the rich. The Agbekoyas of this world too, they've made sure that, okay, farming, what we need to encourage is mechanized farming. So basically, you have all of these things cut out for you in Ogun State. So Ogun State is there for you, and you are sure when you come into Ogun State, you are guaranteed of minimum of 70 million customers. And what do I mean by that? We border Lagos, we border Osun, we border Ondo, we border Oyo, we border Ondo, and we border the West Coast, Benin Republic there, so Benin Republic. So basically, you are sure of your products. You are sure of a market, ready-made market for your product, as long as you meet the required standard, and which is very important. So what I tell people is that Nigerians in diaspora, it is high time for them to start coming home, because they have to join the race to be part of the success story. If not, they are going to be the one that will lose out.
Fantastic. Sir, what have been your accomplishments? You want to stand bold and say, this is what I've done during my time. You can go and check it out.
Well, I see that as being boastful. But what I can tell you is that whatever I must have achieved in this ministry wasn't my own effort alone. I have colleagues. I have the permanent secretaries. I have the directors too. And I have the full soldiers. But leadership is key. I came in here almost 3 years ago, and I met with the team here, and I told them that we need to make this success together. And they agreed with me. I can tell you today that the ministry used to be probably number 18 in terms of IGR generation in the state. Today, we are number 2. And I can tell you that we've been able to increase the IGR of this ministry by 1,282.77%. This shows that we've been able to look at the loopholes where funds are now coming in and they are not coming. And I can tell you, most of the private sectors that were owing us money, we've been able to sit down with them and they've started paying. The point is that I'm coming from that world. I'm the front door. I've seen inside and I've seen outside. But one thing I can tell you is that give it to them. The civil servants are good people. We went to the same universities, we went to the same polytechnic. Some of them decided to come to civil service. But you can be rest assured that when they have the right leadership, they will do the right thing. So, and that's what I'm enjoying today.
Okay, the issue of taxes comes to right now. Now that major industrial giants are coming to Ogun State, does this mean the commercial taxes are going up?
Well, when we came in as government, the IGR of Ogun State was about moving around between 7 and something million. Today, we are eaching between 3 and 4 billion. And our target, by God's grace, is to move up to almost 6-7 billion. So it shows, apart from fact, so we are the only state in this country today that we don't really rely so much on what we get from federal. We are generating more than what we are getting from the federal. So it shows that the industrialization that is coming in here is yielding result. And I can tell you, I forgot to mention that earlier, that apart from those 46 companies that are open shops, we have 19 companies that are in their various stages of construction. Commissioning is coming on very soon. We have about 30 companies that the governor has approved for them to have their lands, allocated to them, which they are in the process of paying and did necessary validation. So, in essence, our target, by the grace of God, is to meet about 100 companies before the end of this term.
Is there going to be any tax holiday?
Well, the governor introduced some incentives during our first investors forum. Another one is coming up on the 21st and 22nd of May. But let us wait for His Excellency to give the incentives out again. He normally reads that one out. So I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. So let the governor give us that information.
Okay, sir. I want to look straight into camera. Talk to willing investors all over Europe, all over America, and the rest of the world. Tell them this is a place to come and invest. Ogun State is open for business. Please come.
Well, our potential investors, I can tell you that you have a home in Ogun State. Ogun State is blessed with a lot of mineral and natural resources. I think you should come to Ogun State and be part of the success story. I can show you the pictures of multinationals that are in Ogun State, and I'm happy to tell you that Ogun State has the largest concentration of industries in this country. I stand to be corrected. Ogun State is the home of industries in Nigeria. Please join us and be part of the success story. Thank you very much.
Honorable Commissioner, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
See you.